right, let's have a look here. Welcome back to the big board, etc. Panzer North Africa. We're going to do a quick little look at armored fighting vehicle combat using all of the advanced rules to do that, which is one of the things I want to encourage you to do in any case. Just as even as you're getting started, once you've played with the basic rules, it's basic. So once you understand the line of sight and spotting, I would encourage you to move straight to the advanced rules. You can just use those out of the advanced rule book. You don't have to use anything else from the advanced rule book. Anyway, here we go. So we're going to shoot at this Panzer 3J with this Crusader 2, and I'm going to look at my little dude here, and I know that I'm 3 hexes away. So I'm looking for the column that is equal to or greater than the range, and that is going to be the short range. So we'll have a penetration rate, penetration factor of 12. So let's just keep that in mind for the moment. And I rolled a bunch of dice, and we will have a look and see what happens here. I like to do a handful of dice, like so, and I'll show you why. This is my to hit roll. This is going to be my location roll. This is going to be my damage roll, and these two are going to be if I decide to use rule 7.12. It's an optional rule. It's the variable damage, variable penetration factor. And we'll talk about that in a second. I'll just show you. So just keep in mind to roll the 43, right? So I roll all the dice and I'm like, okay, well, let's see if it hits. Because look, if you roll 99, you ain't hitting nothing. So let's have a look. We're going to look here, S70. I need to roll 70 or less to have a successful hit. But I've got to do some modifications first because, let's just say we're in dust. Because maybe the chap was moving or whatever. And so now I need a 63 or less because we go down -1. There are no positive values that push you up on this particular table here. But if you're in Overwatch, you would go down another one. Now you would need a 56 or less. Okay, so I rolled a 43. So we're well within the bounds of reason for us to have a hit. So we got a hit. So that's the 2 black dice. Now the next die I rolled was location. 6. I rolled a 6. So let's have a look at where that location ends up. I'm coming in at this guy from the rear side. So rear side. And I rolled, what did I say, a 6. So it's going to be a whole side hit. Alrighty, jolly good. Keep that in mind. So hold that thought. Now, if you have a fast firing gun, you may get multiple hits depending on what you roll up here, right? So we're going to now, let's just talk about a variable penetration. I don't believe it's going to make a difference here because of the difference in the penetration rates. But let's just say, for example, that we're doing that. So I've got a penetration rate of, what did I say, 11 or 12? He said, quickly looking it up, 12. So that would be right here. I can get plus or minus 3 to the penetration rate. So I rolled an 8 and a 5, an 8 and a 5. And so I go across to 8. I'm going to add 1, and the 5 is going to add 0. Oh, sorry, 1 and 5. Sorry, say that again. 8, 1, and 5, 0. So I'm going to add 1 to my penetration. So my penetration is actually going to go up to 13. Now, what could have happened, I could have rolled a 1, and I would have lost 2, which would take me down to a 10. And I could have rolled a 2, and that would have been another 2. That would take me down to a 9. So that would still not help us, because when we look at this Panzer Kampfwagen 3, and we go to the rear side, and we go to the hull, this section here, and we go to the hull side, we can see on a level shot that he's got a defense there of 7. I would have been better off if I got hit in the rear, whole rear, because I've got a 12 defense. So the 12 penetration rate of these chaps, of the Brits, is greater than the 7. Boom, it's a penetrating shot. So what do we do now? Now we pick up our damage die, which is this dude, and we look at the Panzer Kampfwagen, and we go across the AP damage to the knockout column, because that's where the 6 is. And it looks like we are knocked out. Oh, wait, actually, you know what? I'm doing this wrong. We got to use this card. Hang on one sec. Yep, the AP damage inflicted on a 6 is going to be a damage result. So I'm going to I'll get a little marker, which I don't have handy here. Here we go. Damaged, he will now be damaged. And if I get 2 of those, he will be eliminated. If I had to roll a 7, he would have been knocked out. There's no chance to brew it up. Now let's just say, for argument's sake, that there was a turret marker on this, and it's facing this way. And these guys had their fire activation, and they shot their gun. And then all the other units that were going to fire fired, and then it goes over to the opposing side to have their fire. And so they now get a chance to fire, and they'll fire back. So let's go through that exercise again, and we'll do it with the German gun, right? So 28. Trying not to bump all these other dice here. 28. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just trying to be careful a little bit. Location and damage. That'll be good if we actually get a penetration. All right, so 28. So now let's have a look, right? We're also going to be at short range with a penetration of 11. And we are going to be hitting him because we're shooting at him front on. Oh, first of all, we gotta just show you that. Oops. Once again, we would have basically the same set of modifiers here. We would, adjust for dust, but he is now suppressed because he took a shot. I would put a marker like this. Let me show you. It's one thing I forgot to do for you. So glad we did this because I need to put a suppression marker on. And we go from there. So let's just say he should have suppressed -5. So I'm a short range, go down to -5. I need a 35 to hit. Well, isn't that interesting, right? So 35 to hit, I rolled a 28. So we're still going to be good. And it would go down 1 more for the dust. We might as well be fair and say there was dust because we did for the other guy. Although they may not have been, but whatever. So down to 6, which just ends up being 28. So that is going to be just a hit. And the only other thing that might come into play if you're using these optional rules or advanced rules, the level of, if they're veterans or elite, it might change the die rolls for you, yeah? So let's put this back here. We got that hit in. And now we want to see where we hit. And I said I rolled an 8. So real quick, 8, 8, 8. I'm shooting right front on. So 7, 9 is a hull front with a star. That's just going to be hull down if it's hull down. So boom, 7 through 9 is a hull front hit. The penetration modifiers. Let's see, I got a 5 and a 6. A 5 is going to be no change. Oh, the focus just went out. No change, and a 6 is also going to be no change. So I'm just coming in like I am. So let's see with the German card. I said we had an 11 penetration, and the defense on the whole front is 11. Whoopsie, there we go. 11 on a level shot. So it's equal, which means we are going to get a penetrating shot. Just barely, right? So close enough is good enough. So now the AP damage that we're going to inflict is an 8. We're going to go to 6 through 9 with his AP, right? 6 through 9 would be a knockout. Now here's what's interesting. If I was playing with the advanced rules, I could have chosen to use this alternative armor-piercing round type, and that would give me a much, much better penetration, right? So look at that. I would have had a 19 on the penetration. So that would have been a guarantee. But for this stuff, every time I go to use it, I've got to roll a die to see if there's enough of those specialized rounds. And if you fail that roll, then it's going to impact your ability to, it impacts your shot. There's a a modifier here somewhere. I think it's ammo limit here. It drops it by 3 because you can just, it's the time taken to make the adjustments to get the right ammunition up in the barrel. Okay, so even suppressed, they hit and killed this unit, and we would put a knockout or a brew up or whatever it was a knockout on that guy, and Bob's your uncle, and away you go. That's a little bit of a long explanation, but that's how AFV tank-to-tank combat works in Panzer North Africa. All the best.